I know you've done your very best job that you could do with it, so that is appreciated. I know it don't seem like it all the time, and sometimes you might even think I appreciate it, but I do. So, what I want to talk about a little bit tonight was the EMS levy, or the levy period, the fire and EMS levy. Of course, I know there's a proposed increase to it, and so as a taxpayer, I know we gotta have it, and I know, even though it's costly, we got to take care of all these volunteers out here, what of them is left, and then we got to try to prepare for the future so we can provide for the services that people expect. So having said all that, I looked at the figures, and of course with the proposed increase, looks like you got about $2,205,000 allocated for the revenue off of that levy, and it looks like the expenses or around $2,277,000. Now, knowing what I know about fire, I'm assuming you're going to balance it with some other ways, because that's a $72,000 deficit on that. And you'll use some of the state monies and so forth to make that all work out. So today, right now, I know that myself, as a property owner and a personal property owner, that's a stiff fee, even with my tax relief that I get as a volunteer. It's still probably, my next, if this goes through, the next one I get, I think the EMS, fire and EMS levy is probably going to be close to $1,000. That's hefty. And, so we can't do anything about what we need. We know what we need. But we can change how we approach emergency services. Now, when I look at this thing, in reality, we've got 5 emergency services stations in the county. We've got 3 fire departments and 2 standalone EMS agencies. And to do what people want done, because I know that one station in the county consolidated 20-some years ago, so I know what those figures look like, and I'm a little bit puzzled that the rumor mill seems to say that, well, we don't really know what it's going to cost. We should know what it's going to cost. We should know exactly what it's going to cost, not to the penny, but certainly within a few $1,000s. Today, a fire and EMS station in this area, the revenue, the taxpayer revenue needed to run that station is about $700,000 plus revenue recovery. That's to have 2 people in the station that are paid and 1 ambulance that is on duty 24/7. So $700,000 plus revenue recovery. If you looked at that, in less than 2 years, y'all are going to have to put 2 people in these fire stations. The other 2. Mm-hmm. That's another $500,000 per station by itself. So if you had fire and EMS, if you look at the figures that we know that we could pull, it comes up to about $2.1 million. Well, right now your levy and the revenue, it says it's $2.2 million. Well, I like that figure. I like that figure better than I like 2.277, and you still got to add another $1 million to it in less than 2 years. So business is hard. I did budgets. Business decisions are hard. But we seriously need to look at what's reality for us. We need emergency services. We need fire and EMS. But Nottoway County cannot afford 5 stations. I'm sorry. The numbers don't work. 5 stations currently today, under your current situation, be $3.5 million. That won't work. So consolidation might be tough, and nobody knows what it might look like. But I can tell you from my own personal experience, having worked in a consolidated station, the citizens like it better. Now, the people in the station might not like it better. There's those challenges you have to have.
Mr. Chairman, Chief Shute's got about 30 seconds remaining within his 5 minutes.
I'll get off here. So anyway, it seems to me that that's got to be a consideration. We can't afford 5 stations. That doesn't mean anybody has to go anywhere. We just got to figure out how to consolidate and repurpose and make the best of it all. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Chief. Kind of eye-opening, ain't it?
Figures come back, baby, what he said, though.
Certainly a discussion,
Yep.
yes, sir. Mr. Glenn Hart.
That would be me.
Hello.
I hadn't heard that in a good while, Glenn Hart. I've always heard of Bubba Hart. I used to hear Glenn Hart a lot.
Morning, or
you doing?
morning, evening, John, sorry, days are running together. So ladies and gentlemen, thank y'all for giving me the opportunity to speak with y'all tonight. I'm here to address the board about the proposed 7% tax increase. I have a question for this board right now. What is the draw to Nottoway County? What is going to draw residents? What's going to draw businesses? What is going to draw people here? Right now, the answer is there is no draw. The only influx of people that we see coming into this county are coming here because of one thing, and that is Fast C. So I'm going to ask y'all a question. What essential service other than the Sheriff's Department and our emergency services providers does this county provide to the average citizen?
And how did you state that again?
What essential service does this county provide to its citizens? We can't say the landfill because you got to catch that on the days that it's open or the days that it's closed, especially the convenience sites. So what's the draw? Nottoway is going to continue to experience challenges with its budgets until you bring industry, businesses other than fast food, and have a definitive economic development plan. Over the past 2 years, county residents have seen their tax base increase roughly 50%. And here we are again looking at another 7% increase. The average citizen cannot handle that. They can't. I leave when the sun comes up. I get home when the sun goes down. Why? Because there are no good paying jobs in Nottoway County. Let's face the facts. So in order to get the salary that a lot of people desire today, they have to go outside of this county. So think about that. You are proposing another 7% tax increase, and think about all the grief this board sustained last year. I will never say anything negative about our fire and EMS providers. They are the best of the best. I served as fire chief of Blackstone right beside Chief Shute. We had many a great discussion. But he's right, you can't afford career fire and EMS right now. Until you do something to bring industry and sustainable businesses into this area, we're going to keep running into the same thing. We're going to keep running into the same thing. So think about that. You've already done a 50% tax increase. Now it's another proposed 7% tax increase. I have a question for all of you sitting up here today. What cuts have been made that you can say, right now, we cut this to save the county money? Because as I've looked at the budgets and reviewed the budgets, they're hard to find. We keep increasing our spending while we see a decrease in the amount of funding we have. Sorry, but growing up as a kid, if you were given an allowance of $1 and you saw something that you wanted that cost $2, guess what?
You didn't get it.
You didn't get it. You had to wait, or you had to figure out how to gain that extra dollar. How does Nottoway gain the additional funding they need to get out of the financial deficit? You got to start looking at business. You got to start looking at getting something in here with a sustainable tax base. And we have to realize that Nottoway County is not Chesterfield, Henrico, Hanover, or these other large counties. The average citizen in Nottoway cannot essentially tolerate another tax raise or tax increase. And that's the truth of it. So if we want to put the truth out there, 7% tax increase, you're going to catch a lot of grief. And as a public figure, and I have been there, people are going to be upset. They're not going to speak favorably of you. And it's going to be another round of turmoil. So let's start looking as a county at how can we bring additional tax base in? How can we bring additional revenue into the county? What essential services can we provide? Has the county ever stopped to look at a rural trash pickup? Charge county residents $10, $15 a head, park your trash cans at the end of the driveway, and we'll have the county come in and pick up your trash. Has the county looked at, hey, I know we have a bunch of employees, but for the next 2 years, we may have to do a salary freeze. I'm like Chief Shute. I've had to work big budgets before, and I've had to manage big budgets and personnel before. And
Excuse me,
it's
Mr.
not
Hodge, did you
pleasant.
say a salary increase or decrease?
Freeze.
I said a salary freeze.
Freeze.
Okay. Okay, I didn't understand what you said.
Appearance, showing that you do care about your county citizens will go a long way. But constantly trying to squeeze blood from a turnip, which is what we're trying to do now in this county, it's not going to work. That turnip is drying up. And a lot of the citizens in this county are going to start looking outwards or trying to find somewhere cheaper to live. So if your population and your consensus of residents drops, guess what else drops? Your tax base.
Mr. Chairman, the gentleman's got 30 seconds left of his 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Tooth.
So I guess I could stretch it out for 30 more seconds. But what I'll say is please think about your citizens, think about the impact this is going to have on them, and think about what can we do to draw more interest in the Nottoway County for business and tax-based revenue. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
Bubba.
Ms. Lorraine Rather.
Good evening.
Hey,
and
good evening.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity. I have a question, it's not pertaining to the budget, but I figured that now's a better time. I have been trying to get access to old tax maps and records, and I've talked with Commissioner Hudson, and she tells me that they are stored someplace here because of the renovation or whatever. She can't get to it and recommended that I go to Richmond. I did go to the Library of Virginia in Richmond on Broad Street, and they only went records up to 1903, but I need to go further back. So my question is, can someone help me or give me some direction of how I may be able to obtain access to older tax records here in Nottoway while I guess records have been stored for the new courthouse or renovation or whatever that her department is going through.
When you say tax records, are you speaking of tax maps, or what are you speaking of?
Well, tax maps, I want to start with,
You're studying ownership.
excuse me.
You're studying ownership.
Yes, and this all came from the fact that the tax map that shows our property currently is not accurate, and I've talked with Commissioner Hudson about it, and she agrees, and so I'm trying to do some research.
Have you done anything as far as,
Clerk's
Ms. Norton just said, looking for a survey or old survey in the clerk's office?
I would like to do that. Are the books there? I mean, I wasn't.
Yes, ma'am. What you need to do, if you get that tax number,
Yes.
that tax map number,
Yes, sir.
they should tell you what the deed is. You can
Yeah.
come here to the courthouse, to the clerk's office, and you can go back through deeds to see where, who owned it before, the person owns it now, then you can continue back through the deeds. And I think we're still good in Nottoway County. We had some stuff that was messed up during the Civil War, but I think you can probably go back through that. I've done some of that myself to find the wills of people or what was transferred from somebody to somebody else.
There
I
may
know
not
I've
be a
got
map,
I've
there'll
got
be the
the
legal descriptions.
yeah I've got
It won't be nothing showing you where those lines are at unless it was a survey done and that
Right.
survey was recorded.
Right.
And if that's what you're looking for, it ain't over there.
No, well, I need to see the map, like.
Yes,
you
ma'am.
said. I went over there, and talked with, I believe it was like, Ms. Spencer's staff, okay? And they recommended, they said they couldn't go to the old record because they needed the permission from the commissioner, because their, tax maps
Right.
and all were.
That's public record. They don't need nobody's permission.
Well, the thing is, I think if you look at deeds, that'll help you. Because the deeds will tell you who owned the property before the person owns it right now. I know when I transferred some property to myself, I went back and I found 3 different deeds that have been combined into one. So you can go back through those deeds and find out who owned the property. I know who owned it before my father bought it, and then so I can go back and see. And you could probably do that over here. If you find out the tax number from Ms. Hudson, then she should give you that number, and that should tell you where to go look in the deeds.
Right, okay.
But
Yes, ma'am.
if you're looking for a line, a property line,
Yes.
unless a survey, and it's gonna be a description in the deed, say, go to old fence line or go to 18-inch
Right.
red oak tree.
Right.
That'll be in there now. And anything prior to that timeline, you're right, you do have to go to Richmond to the archives, because the courthouse burned down and many of that stuff was destroyed. So Richmond does have that in the archive prior to that time.
Okay, because they told me that they only have up to, go back as far as 1903.
Richmond does. Is that what Richmond told you?
That's what Richmond told me, yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah,
So anything beyond that wouldn't have them. Okay.
okay. All right, thank
All right,
you.
thank you.
Maybe
Thank
the
you, ma'am.
clerk can help you a little bit there too.
All right.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right, that was our 3 signed-up public speakers. Seeing no one else to speak, I'll take a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, next we've got sale of property, item 4. And some offers in regards to real estate. You want to walk us through that, Mr. Bowen?
Yes, sir. And before we do that, Mr. Chairman, just so you know, so next Thursday is when you need to adopt the budget. So you got 7 days since you've listened to the public, you can decide which way you want to go in the future with the budget. So just so you know that. And I do appreciate the comments from Mr. Shute and Bubba. I just know him by Bubba. But he did say something that I do want to make sure I come out and say. After those 52 line items, 19 line items this budget committee cut. 19 of the 52. Your big horses, your big elephant is the school
And EMS. Yep.
Okay.
And
So I
keep
just-
in mind, because I
I
hate
mean,
people,
I've cut and cut and cut. How
Yeah.
many meetings did we go?
I hate people saying it's fire and EMS. It's not fire. Fire is staying exactly where it was.
Right.
There's no change on the fire rates. It's EMS. And you can look at how much the school went up, almost $1 million. And I think EMS, what was it, Steve, 600,000?
600 something.
Yeah.
600 and some $1,000. And that's, I mean, if you go through everything else and look at it, you will see there's some places that a little bit of increase,
Right.
and there's some places that decrease. I think we decreased, let me see. If y'all got this sheet that we got,
I just
legal
wanna-
services decreased. School bonds decreased, travel decreased, workman's comp decreased, discretionary fund decreased. The treasurer's went up $5,500 because of postage. Y'all know what it costs to put something in the mail now. Piedmont Regional Jail allocation decreased by $300,000.
But let me say about that, if we have a surge of arrests,
Of convicts.
we don't have any choice.
That's right. That's right.
Anyway, so right now what's helping us is federal inmates.
Federal
is helping
inmates,
pay.
yeah.
That's right. So anyway,
Reduction in the landfill budget of $92,000. Fire and EMS increase of $600,000. It shouldn't say fire and EMS, just say EMS. So, I mean, we've looked at this thing hard. And the problem we got is we've got to provide the services, And you know, when somebody says, what services do you provide? And how about the schools? That's the biggest chunk.
For a whole lot of folks that don't use a school.
I know, but that's,
When I asked that question, they said it take a village to raise a child. It must take 3 counties to put one in prison.
7 counties.
no, more than that, I think.
State, not private.
No, I mean, I agree. I mean, I don't like it. I'm going up too. But you want to be able to pick up that phone at 11 o'clock tonight if you got something wrong with you. You want to be able to call those folks and come get you. And I've had to do that. And so,
But let me say this too, Mr. Ingram. The point that Mr. Shute made tonight.
right,
If you do consolidate, there's a possibility of some savings there. But I don't know how to get the group, the family there.
right.
And I know Bo and John is participating in meetings.
Oh, we know how to fix.
But anyway.
Don't hurt some feelings.
And I want to comment
But-
too, Bubba, like I said, I agree with Dickie because I'm on the committee. We did cut, but the problem is we have all these unfunded state mandates
Right.
now that they're making us do that they funded before and now they're not funded. So we're having to absorb it. And we also have social services that's not totally paid by the state. We have to pay some of that. And for everything that we cut, something else went up. So it's a continued battle. But I agree, Bubba, and both of you, that we do need to attract industry.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that.
But also, on the same hand, I would like to point out, and I'll name a few of them, but if I leave some out, I didn't mean to. Nottoway County is a rural county. It's not Chesterfield County. It's never designed to be Chesterfield. I don't want to tax them like Chesterfield because then you might as well move to Chesterfield. Mm-hmm. But we do have a lot of stuff. We've got American Reefs. But now he said high-paying job, but we need any kind of job we can get. We just approved the Cox Lumber deal. That's going to employ 25 people. You got Arbortech. You've got Wilkerson Tire.
Convenience, I mean, the convenience store.
You
that's
got
coming
the
in,
you got
bro.
the school teachers. You got the sheriff's office. You got right many people who work within finances. You know, you got 2 major banks in Nottoway County.
Prison jobs.
Prison jobs. But I would love to see something come here in the way of a factory that would pay employees $45,000 to $70,000. I'd love to see that.
But you to say this to get somebody to draw one of those line items I cut was the economic development line item. I cut $4,000. So you got to invest in. You can't just have land. You got to have the land look like an industrial park. And the only way you're going to do that, you got to put money in it.
You got to have
Okay.
proffers to
So
offer.
that's you got to
these
have
people.
water, sewage, gas. You better have it sitting there.
It's a wonderful building sitting in Crew that just got remodeled and really a lot of money spent on that's looking to be leased out right now.
I saw that.
So but it takes an entrepreneur to want to get that. And if you
That's
don't have the
right.
entrepreneur that desires to do it, we can't put a gun on them and say, you got to come here and open your business up.
Mr. Chairman, can I get clarification on something that Mr. Hart had brung up? The 7% increase. I thought the only increase was over on the EMS side.
That's
the
correct.
4%.
He used percentages
It's
instead of
4
saying 4%.
cents, 47% of the total
Oh,
on
okay.
EMS. Yeah.
Okay, all right. So, because I
That
was,
was some good board discussion.
But anyway, I just want to clarify that. Mr. Chairman, going to this personal, and thank you for letting me do that and have conversations. Going to this sell of property, Mr. Simmons, we had property that we have been looking at to sell. We have 2 lots down there by Crystal Lake that I did not even know we owned. When I say lot, I'm not talking about 3 or 4 acres. I'm talking about a downhill bushes kind of lot.
50 by 100.
Yeah, that's right. Someone can put a trailer if they can get down the hill to get to it. Not a trailer, but a camper.
Right.
So he offered, said, hey, let me do some communication and some discussions with an interested buyer. You see that those 2 lots, it's been offered by Mr. and Miss Griffin, $14,000. He has sold property in that area for around about the same amount, so that's nothing new.
Some of it took him a good while to get rid of it too, didn't it?
Took him a good while to get word of it, right,
It
Bo.
doesn't hurt.
Evidently, back in the day, I want to say, I can't think, I think it was Atkins.
That's correct.
Atkins bought a lot of property,
Yes.
and they had a vision to sell all this property. It was going to be Crystal Lake frontage, and it's a lot of lots that people down there did not pay taxes on, and that's how we end up in getting that property. I'm asking for three things. Let's go through each one. I'm asking y'all to give me the permission to sign the contract with the understanding that you got to do a public hearing. You still got to hear from the public. We got to do a public hearing to say that we want to sell this property.
I'll ask for a motion to have a public hearing for the sale of lots 53 and 54 Whitmore Town Road, Crew, Virginia.
So move for the public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Okay. The second project that he has been working on with us is the I call it the old annex building where I had classes with Mr. Guard, who probably taught you a little bit about baseball, Mr. Ingram. No, I was kidding. I'm playing with you, brother. So anyway,
Doug Guard was smart.
He was a smart
He
guy.
was very
and
intelligent.
he was a preacher.
Yes, he was.
That's right. But anyway, that annex building was turned over through the school. I think it was taking so long is the Golubic statement was tied in to that property, and I think Mr. Ingram, you caught that, and so we had to get it resurveyed. It's surveyed separate.
Now, let me ask the question, when that survey, is it just that building?
Yes, sir.
Up on it? It's not the playgrounds?
No,
and
sir.
none of that?
No,
Okay,
sir.
cool.
It's got stakes around it.
Right.
I went by and looked at it.
Okay.
Mr. Doc McGee has made an offer of $20,000. I have gotten it. I've had to put some money in that building. I had to get it boarded up, and to be honest with you, if somebody don't do something with it, right now it's got graffiti on it, and I'm probably gonna have to talk to the inmates and see if I can get it painted. But I'd rather let somebody else own it, and I got to cut grass down there too. But anyway, $20,000.
This had some environmental inside it too, didn't it? There's some concerns about lead, asbestos.
Yeah.
What about?
But
what
Doc
about-
McGee's got a.
What about an appraisal? You gotta know what the value of something is before you just take somebody's offer. We need to pay for an appraisal of it. That place could be worth $400,000.
No, it's not. To Bruce, but
I'm saying that, yeah, but.
But I agree. You
A
should
lot,
get an
one
appraisal.
lot in the town of Crew is worth more than 20,000.
Has it been listed for
He
25?
No, he listed it for anybody who was interested to buy it.
Make an
And that was-
offer.
Make an
and that's the offer.
Oh, okay, well, and that might be the best offer we get.
Right.
I wanna
Have we
put-
had any other offers?
Well, I think it's really hard. I guess I'm not disputing what Bo was talking about.
Well, on the other side of that, Mr. Bowen, it might cost $100,000 to clean it up if you tear it down, so that might be a great sale. But we need to investigate to see it.
Okay.
Me, personally, I wanna go look at it.
Okay.
I wanna go see it.
So don't sign that contract.
You don't know where it's
yet.
at, Bo?
I know where it's at, but I wanna go inside.
He wants to see
I
the
don't know if you
condition.
want to or not.
I wanna see the frog pond in there.
Yeah, I want to do this though. Let's go ahead and give him approval to advertise for the public hearing.
Yeah, and then
Okay.
meanwhile, we can go look.
Then
That's
go
right.
look. Okay, that's fine.
That way we're
We got the ball
moving
rolling.
government.
Yep.
Okay. All right, so I'm asking for a motion, Mr. Chairman, if you could give me permission to sign this contract. And
For the
with
public-
pending, knowing that we have to do a public hearing.
Whoa. If we give you permission to sign that contract, you talking about to accept the $20,000?
No.
No, we're
No.
just advertising this for sale.
So he has to have
Have a public
he has to
hearing.
sign a contract to advertise it?
No.
So what is the permission he's asking for?
It's called a commercial purchase agreement. In other words, that when we advertise it, I'm gonna put that price in the advertisement. You ain't gotta sell it.
Maybe the attorney could shed some light on
Well, I'm
that.
just gonna say, if you're signing any like commercial purchase agreement or real estate agreement for the other properties, and if you're gonna sign that agreement before you enter a
sign it
public
till-
hearing.
You gotta have
You
the
can't-
hearing
Yeah,
first.
you have to have a public hearing
Right.
before you can
Okay.
even sign it, because.
What we're doing is advertising for public hearing.
Yeah,
Right.
you just mentioned
Permission to sign the
permission to
agreement.
sign and then have a public hearing.
Can't do that.
But you can't agree to a price really until we have a public
That's
hearing.
that kidney stone.
So,
Yep.
so hold tight though.
I just-
So when I do the public hearing, are we gonna put the price in because we should?
When you can.
Yeah,
Well-
we received an offer.
But I'm trying to lock that price in, is what I'm trying to do.
Well,
Let me back up, because we've had the other property that we sold, the house, y'all gave me permission to sign that. So I'm just following the same thing that we've already set
So
precedent.
I was gonna say, or if you do enter a contract, then very, very specific language needs to be in there that it is subject to a public hearing and a vote. Because if it is not, like,
All right, well,
you need to be able to get out of it.
I understand.
Like,
If,
without any default.
Mr. Chairman, on my motion there,
Okay.
we covered that, I protected that because I said to move on the public hearing.
Okay. I can get her to review the
That's right.
contract that I'm signing? Okay.
That's fine. I just want something
We'll
really-
make sure we have that in there.
Yeah.
That's good protection.
See, can you say that again? I couldn't hear you.
I'm sorry.
The first motion that we made, when he asked for the motion about that, I said for the public hearing, specifically for that only.
For that only, not to sign any
That's right.
agreement, okay.
Yeah, I'll make a motion, we open the public hearing on the sale of the old shop
Advertise.
building.
Yep. Advertised for 205 East Pennsylvania Avenue, Crewe,
Yes.
Virginia.
And I second that motion.
All in favor? Any opposed?
All right, I'll get that to you, Catherine, to review. Okay. And by the way, so the public hearing won't be until, if we get everything moving, it won't be until July or so,
Right.
right? So
You
you
got
know.
time to go over and take
You
a
got
look.
time to take a look at it?
Okay.
All right. All right, the third one is two different contracts because this is the property, what we call the barracks property that's inside the gate. Dr. McGee.
Sell it.
So McGee, Doc McGee, he is the one who put the price in for the annex building. And so he's also still interested in the property he's renting from us in the LRA and the property beside it. I think it's 2 buildings and a lot. We've had different discussions about the future of that area, and so I'm gonna leave it up to the board.
I'll make a motion to have a public hearing on this one as well.
Second?
Okay.
All in favor? Any opposed?
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I would say this too, as far as that property that we have out there with residents and stuff like that, when we're talking about cutting costs, the sooner we are out of
That's about a $200,000 cut.
Yeah.
That's another
So
cut.
the sooner we're out of this, there's something else that is kind of unseen. The sheriff's office has to respond to anything out there that's county-owned.
Right.
And,
You brought that up before in services, EMS?
Yes,
Yes.
that's right, so.
So this other piece that he's asked for, that's inside the gate, that's gonna be part of the discussion, because we did have a prospect looking at the entire parcel,
That's right.
so we have to keep that in mind.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
And we know that to support the mission, which was part of the discussion with the Guard, was to not sell any more properties inside the gate. But then we lost our big prospect. So further discussions for all of it, and we'll have a public hearing on it.
Right.
All right. Anything else on those, Mr. Bowen?
No, sir, that's all for that part of it.
Okay, so animal shelter rules and procedure discussion, and this doesn't need to be a long discussion. I was asked by Town Manager Vanderbeck of Blackstone if they had an animal control officer, and this is if, they would have access to the new shelter. And my first response was, of course, you're Nottoway County taxpayers. I then found out that Mr. Anzavino had told him no previously. Of course, that was when we had the old shelter. The CARES group found out that I was asking, so they sent me a list of rules. Ms. Estes is in charge of the animal control building. So I don't want to get in the weeds and set things up and rules. And all I want to know is if the board would allow Blackstone to communicate with animal control to see about having access to the shelter.
Mr. Chairman, what you got there is ridiculous. If the dog or the cat or anything else is in the boundaries of Nottoway County, it goes to that shelter, period. That's what all the taxpayers in this county are paying for the use of that.
That was my feeling.
Use it. Well, I'll say it out loud for you.
I think,
Let them have discussions.
okay.
What do you think?
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I think that that's not what CARES is talking about, okay? I think CARES wants all animals in this county that need to go to the shelter to go to the shelter. That's why it's there. I don't think there's any question about that. I think the problem is if Blackstone's got their own animal control officer, then how do they coordinate with the Nottoway County animal control officer? You see
Give
what I'm
them a
saying?
key.
There's got to be some kind of,
Well, they're adults.
Give them a key.
Yeah,
Set
but
the-
it's a
set the
liability
ru- Set the
issue.
rules.
right. I mean, I didn't know Blackstone had an animal control officer.
They bought a truck and they bought equipment, but then
Years ago, they had one.
they got told no. So that man has now gone on to be an investigator. So they may not have one. but I was certainly asked,
He was already.
Yeah.
and I didn't really, he's already a police officer. He's
Yes.
already trained police
But
officer.
it would make sense for them to have one because it's a long way from Blackstone to Burkeville. And if our regular control officers can't be
Right.
on site, Blackstone would have it. But are there
They would have to be
liability
trained,
issues?
they would have to be trained.
Since that person's not a county employee, they're a town employee.
I think that's.
So
would be all right on that.
here's what my biggest concern is as the county administrator. Okay, let me be honest with you. All right, we got a nice facility down there. Okay. What I don't want to happen, and because I asked a question, I had a conversation with the animal control officer. So just so you know, if it's a vicious animal comes in, you got to keep that vicious. The state code requires you keep that animal 7 days before you
Do anything to it.
And a vet has to do it. Okay, a
Right.
veterinarian has to do that. Okay. What I'm concerned about is because we are trying to adopt dogs. Suppose I lose volunteers. Suppose things get stale. Okay, and then we got that place filled up with dogs and cats. And then there's a vicious dog somewhere, and then we go get it, and then my animal control officer says, well, I ain't got any room at the inn. There's no room to, what am I going to do? And then you find out, well, darn, we got a dog down there, been there for 30, 40 days. All right, what do I do with that? The vet's got to give me permission to put the dog down. And can I get that?
We talked about this, and I can't remember whether we ever, I don't think we ever came up with
I've
that. How many days before the dog is moved on?
Well, that's the thing.
Well, if you look-
I think the board can set that.
I know they
I
can.
don't think we need to set days. I think we just need to let them know that there's always gonna be 2 runs open.
Right.
If there's not 2 runs open, then you've got to
If-
transition the dog
The,
away.
If you look at the report we get every month from the animal control in our packet, you will see they say how many dogs are in the shelter. Okay, so you also see how many dogs have been transferred
Or adopted.
or adopted, correct. And you see, in fact, the lady from Richmond Animal League was up there at the grand opening, and she said we do a lot of things with Nottoway. They accept dogs from Nottoway shelter, and I think Southside SPCA does the same. So there's a lot of dogs that may go into the shelter, but they end up going somewhere else. They're not staying there for an extended period of
I don't think you
time.
need to, like I said, set days and then you arbitrarily euthanize a dog that was maybe a nice dog.
Right.
But you let them know that there is always space, there's always
Yeah.
room in the inn. And if there's not room, they need to go.
Well, I
however
can
they
tell you
go.
right now, how many dogs does it house? How many was it, 18?
14 main runs, but then there's cages everywhere. I mean, it's,
Yeah, but I'm talking about, ain't state say that they gotta have a main run every so often? Never mind, I don't wanna get in the weeds on it. What I'm saying
that's
is,
what yeah.
it's a very small facility.
Right.
And looking back, after talking to a couple board members in Prince Edward, they are having to do the same thing. We've got Piedmont Regional Jail. We should have had their funding to help us. Yes, regional animal shelter.
And what the situation.
Great place up there for it, right there.
The situation that happened, Bo, that makes me worried, not worried, but concerned. This is now with our old facility. But there was a dog that was walking down the street down in Crew. The dog wasn't hurting anybody, but some people are scared of dogs. So people wouldn't get out the car to go into Booker's. Okay, the police wanted them picked up. They said, well, we don't have any room. That's not right.
No, it's a leash law in the town of Blackstone, and I'm sure there is Crew. The dog has to be picked up.
Mr. Chairman, to me, it's simple. If the county, as protection for the county, protection for the town, needs some sort of a MOU, then let's get it done. If there's an animal that needs to be taken off the street, there should always be an opening up there. If there's not an opening up there, somebody's not doing the proper procedures at the facility. There must be a cage open at all times. If there ain't, something's got to be moved out.
All you got to do is go
Bottom
down and look on the list and see what dog's been there the longest, and then get the SBA involved and see if they got room or something.
I mean, the
I don't
taxpayers.
think we need to take a vote on it, but it sounds like everybody's willing for the,
It's going to be some growing pains, Mr.
Yes,
Chairman. It's
yes.
gonna
As
be
far
some
as the
growing pains.
town's using it, they pay 2 real estate taxes,
The
county
officer,
and town, so they certainly should be
the
able to use it.
officer is number one, he was a certified police officer and he went for additional training for the animal.
he would have to do that, yes.
Yeah, so he was already certified that they hired or that was going to be brung in. So it's not like you're just, and I mean, I would trust any officer to walk out there and handle a dog. I mean, if they can handle a human, they can handle a dog. I mean, and somebody's going to probably beat me up for that, but
Animal
who
control
cares?
sets the rule.
That's right.
Mr. Chairman, can I ask our attorney a question?
Sure.
Related to this? Catherine, we have our animal control in Burkeville under Nottoway County, their employees. Suppose Blackstone gets their own officer. If that officer gets bit, mangled, whatever by a dog, transit up here, who's responsible for his medical bills, the county or Blackstone?
Well, I couldn't tell you off the top of my head, but just because I don't actually know the liability in that. And he has probably a separate contract, and there's probably a liability provision in a contract. However, just generally speaking, I would say that it would likely be Blackstone.
Yeah.
Because they would pick up, they're an employee of Blackstone. They would be picking up a dog or an animal, I guess, in Blackstone and then transferring it to the county. I mean, they're always in the county. Doesn't matter where you take it. You're always
I
in the
just think we
county.
need some kind of definitive something.
Well, let's see if they.
It's all a county
Like I said,
animal,
it may not even
period.
be available anymore.
It should be able to go to the county animal shelter. It's just, we don't need to get in the weeds on
No.
if something happens.
You don't want to leave it up to questions.
And whether it's Crew might get one too, or Burkeville, it doesn't matter where it is, just making sure that legal-wise we can do that.
And citizens are paying enough taxes, and this is one of the services that they're taxed for, so there shouldn't be no issue of where, if the dog's in this county, it should go to that pen. I don't care who takes custody of it.
All right. End of discussion, I guess. Number 6, reassessment. So this was an idea that I had that we would not go to 4 years next year. We'd save the money for the reassessment, which was about,
Right, 300.
300,000.
But I was gonna pay some of it, it goes in between 2 budget cycles, so I was,
so you're gonna split it a little bit?
yeah, so I was looking at, we're
Go
gonna,
go ahead and do a reassessment in the 5th year, so that we don't hit the composite index again, increasing the cost of the school. So any discussions?
I remember one of the board members saying something about doing that to start with, but then
Did
they
you call
didn't.
him? You tried to call
I
him?
was seeing if he was still on the phone.
And when we brought that,
Bo, you were right. You want me to hear, you want to hear
Say it
that?
again, let me hear what
I
he
said,
said.
Bo, you were right.
when we brought that forth to begin
That's the
with,
first
we
time,
didn't
though.
know the ramifications of moving it from 6
and
to
during
4 years.
During COVID, the appreciation was crazy. I mean, people paying way over what the houses were previously, selling
right,
for.
in this 6 years, it was
That
shell
slowed,
shock.
and that slowed down some.
But another thing I asked at that very time, I said, what does the reassessment cost? How much does it cost for them cats to ride around and charge whatever that it costs to the taxpayer?
2.5 cent real estate tax.
Because that's
what it
who's going,
costs.
that's going to pay. Yeah, $122,000 per penny.
The CRC group, when I was, a lot of meetings we went to, we were trying to do a regional. All of us come in and say, hey, we're gonna hire somebody from all 5 counties, hire somebody to reassess, evaluate them, that kind of thing. But Bo, it's not that many players in town. It's like only a few of them that does it, and they got you. You always have to get people from Carolina. I mean, it's not many companies out there. And so if we had, I tell you, I know teachers are needed, but people who reassess and actually look at the property,
Well, see, that's the
that's
problem.
A lot
needed.
of them just trying to do it online.
Right.
A lot of them do not look at the property. I
mean,
know
he-
they don't, because that
Physically.
affected me.
Physically go look at the
They
property.
do not go out and look at the property.
But
They
look-
just look at the tax, the GIS.
But-
And a lot of that GIS is wrong.
But a lot of times they do too, because I see the little car riding around reassessment, stopped it into my driveway 15, 20 minutes. I said, oh boy.
You're just taking a smoke
Add you
break,
on a
Bo.
special list.
They didn't see the junk pile behind the house I had. They should have deducted for that.
Mr. Chairman, I looked into something for reassessment, and I was, kind of, an idea popped off about the lock-in that we had discussed. So I looked into the reassessment, and unfortunately, the thought I had, I don't believe can be done unless there's something, y'all give me some sort of a light here. All right, so what I was trying to look into was, I had this belief that, like your oh God, the money they pull out of your income tax. So your income tax, to me, nobody should have a right to your financial gain that you worked for. But that's not an argument that we can make. That's well above my pay grade. The thing about the reassessment, we are reassessing on a value that the owners never paid. So what I was looking into was, can we back up and do reassessments at the current owner's purchase price. And the state code that I found, it appears that we cannot. So if Mr. Shute, I'm gonna pick on y'all since y'all are the ones here. Mr. Shute, let's say and I'm just gonna use numbers for John math. Let's say Mr. Shute 10 years ago bought his property for $10,000. Well, while he owns that property, he should only be taxed on the value of the property that he purchased. If Bubba bought land and it was worth, he bought it last year and it was $20,000 and he sells it for $30,000 the following year, well, then the next person's paying $10,000, he's paying $20,000.
But then we ain't got no inflation whatsoever.
But that's
It's
what I'm
like
saying.
farm rent. Man went up on my rent, and when he redone the lease, he said inflation. I said, yeah, I understand.
But that's what I'm saying. So, and to Bubba's point, one of the things was, how do we let the people know, okay, so I was looking for something, but the state code prohibits it. They said that the only way we offset that is drop the tax rate. And then once you drop the tax rate, you're dropping it on everything in order to get back to that value. And it's just no way to do it. I mean, you have to go back. It's almost impossible.
What do y'all think about doing it in the 5th year instead of the 4th year?
5th year, yes, sir.
I go back to what I said originally, 5th year.
Okay. Ms. Norton?
5th year.
We're not gonna do it.
I don't have any problem with that.
Okay.
Do we have to have a vote on that?
Just consensus?
I
You want us
can't,
to
I
have a-
can't remember when
I
we
think you
voted.
do because.
I think they voted on the 6 year, so I think you gotta have a vote.
Yeah.
All right.
I make a motion that we have reassessment done every 5th year rather than 6 year.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
All
Carried
right.
5-0. Number 7, fiscal year 26 bonus.
All right, that's the,
Whoa, yeah, Mr. Chairman, hold on. There was an issue with that motion. You said the 5th year instead of the 6th.
It's the 5th year instead of the 4th.
4th.
We had voted for the 4th.
Yeah, what's the terminology to modify
amend
my
it,
motion?
amend it.
Amend my motion.
You want to amend your motion?
Yes, not from the 5th year to the 4th year, but rather from the 4th year that we currently have to the 5th year is my motion.
And my second will stand.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? 5-0.
Thank you for catching that, John.
yeah, good catch.
45.
All right, so I was pushing for 6 years, but that's just me. All right, so,
I'll be all right with every 10 years as long as the value stays
all
the
right,
same.
bonuses, look at your last page, if you could. So, Andrea and I had conversations about this, and I should have stayed on top of it more than I should have, but what happened is when the Democratic Party took over, there was a caboose bill and blah, blah, blah. And I'm going to yield for a minute here to Catherine. I don't know how much homework she did, but I'm going to say this. So what had happened, what came out the gate is that the state mandated to give bonuses to constitutional officers and, deputies, what do you call it, the constitutional officers?
Comp board.
Comp board.
Comp board.
Comp board
Comp
folks.
board people.
And plus the register and electoral board. And I just want you to see the numbers there. Now, what was so upsetting about that, the state comes along and says, you got to give these bonuses, but we didn't budget for bonuses in FY '26. That wasn't even on the radar. And then a new governor comes in and da-da-da-da. And so Andrea put this together. It's pretty close on that last page. What you basically see is a total bonus payout, and this is not for our county. Look at the bottom line. This is not for county employees like Andrea, Greg, myself, anybody that. It's comp board people and constitutional officers.
Well, I can go through who it actually
Yeah,
is
that's
for
fine.
if you'd want me to.
Yeah.
I don't mean to interrupt, and I
No, I'm
apologize.
glad that's what I'm asking.
Please
you to help
do.
me.
So
Thank you, John.
these bonuses are basically, so this HB 29, and I'm not an expert. I did just look at it this afternoon. I will say that. So it requires localities to provide a 2% one-time bonus effective on June 1st, but you have some time. You have until September 30th to do this. To locally elected constitutional officers, general registrars and members of local electoral boards, full-time employees of locally elected constitutional officers, some full-time employees of certain state-supported local entities, and then what you were kind of saying, Steve, people who are not eligible are employees of purely local government departments and funded entirely by local revenue like public works, parks, county administration, that, that sort of thing. So those individuals are covered. So,
So you've got two classes of employees that work for this county.
yes.
I'll tell you one thing I didn't like. There was nothing to cut on the schools, and then all of a sudden there was a $285,000 bonus pool there.
I couldn't,
I didn't
I'm
like
scared
it.
for that.
I about fainted when I saw that.
All right, so, but we have to, so here's the secret of this thing. You have to do an ordinance to actually give these bonuses out.
So nothing that I've found actually requires an ordinance.
Oh, it doesn't?
I didn't see anything, so Andrea's saying she did see an ordinance. I reviewed the language, now again, I looked at it not that long this afternoon, but I didn't see, maybe it's by county code? She said no. Okay, well, this certain law doesn't require an ordinance.
Okay.
This HB 29.
Yeah.
Right,
You
so,
don't have to adopt that by ordinance, maybe you have to adopt like a permissive one-time bonus. Like that would be a separate thing that's not really included in this, because my research was only
yeah.
for
well,
this
when-
bill. But, I can look at that and
Yeah.
verify it,
I
so I
think
apologize.
Andrea also reached out to Lunenburg County, and Tracy G had recommended you do an ordinance anyway.
Well, it never hurts. I mean, you're gonna have to, basically do some sort of, I guess, provision in the budget to make these work, because they have to be given by September 30th. But they are mandatory. There's no way to get around this.
So
Bonuses are
to-
mandatory?
it- Is it my understanding that comp board positions,
For these?
constitutional officers, they're
Why we
paid
gotta
by
pay
the
if the state's
state
paying it?
and by the county? Is the bonus
Paying it.
on just the state part or both, the county part?
So it looks like the bill requires both.
Okay.
So it looks like the bill requires not only the state employee, but also full-time employees of the state-supported employee.
Because a lot of people don't realize
The
that
entire
these
office.
salaries are both
Looks like it.
funded by both.
Commonwealth Attorney's Office as a whole.
So
I believe that's right. Again, I need to do more research on it because I
Right.
only got to do it today. But
let me just go on and face the piper. I'm late out the gate, okay, but I want y'all to make sure you make an informative decision.
I ain't making no
What's
decision
confusing,
tonight.
what's confusing to me is if you do a public hearing, I mean, if you do an ordinance, you gotta do a public hearing. So to me, if the public comes and says, no, don't give everybody bonuses, so why is it mandatory? Why do a public hearing?
This is why I'm really
agree.
confused about, I need to look to see if this bill mentions that public ordinance requirement, because I'm actually not sure if it does. And if it doesn't,
So
then
we
it
have to
might
decide this by
bypass.
June 1st, but it can be paid as late as September?
That's what I was getting ready to ask.
So the payment period is between June 1st and September 30th. All of them have to receive it by the 30th.
So if, say this money came out of the proposed new budget, that would work. So Steve wouldn't have to scrounge and found this amount of money between now and July 1.
But you gotta add a line item to come back to proposed new budget.
Right,
I
that's
don't
right.
care, I'm gonna vote against it.
What
I don't
I'll
care.
have to do is, I'll have to ask you to appropriate the money.
What they go-
Well, stop for a second.
What they
But
gonna
that's
do?
confusing now. Well, stop for a second. You appropriated the money for me last month because I told y'all I thought I had to do it.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
The
I don't know
80,000.
that now. That's what I'm taking. I don't
We've got,
know.
we got a week till our next meeting.
Yeah, I mean,
do investigate
we can
for
look
next
at it
week?
more. In
That's
fact,
prior to
that would
June
probably be
1st.
better, but from what I found today, they are mandatory.
Is this total roughly 80,000 though? Steve?
Yeah, basically what it is, if you look at total bonus payout is 116, minimum reimbursement from the state would be about 39, close to 40, and what's gonna cost us is 75,000.
The
So,
problem, John, is I could be a comp employee, Steve could just be a regular employee, I'm gonna get the bonus.
right.
That's a
And
problem.
it's two deputies sitting beside each other.
Yeah,
Right.
But,
Same
but
job.
the only thing of it is, I mean,
Right, am I right,
I enjoyed this discussion, but what we saying ain't gonna change it. You just need, if you would, check on it and see if it's
Yeah,
gotta be an
well, if
ordinance.
it-
We gotta have time enough to do a public hearing if we gotta do it by June 1st.
Well,
How you gonna do that?
no, I mean, you don't have to have it by, the state, from what I've seen, the state understands that you're gonna have to do like a budget appropriation, you're gonna have to do certain things, maybe hold a public hearing. I'll have to double check that if you actually have to do that.
If you gotta hold a public hearing by June the 1st, it's possible, isn't it?
Well, yeah, June 1st is already passed.
Yeah, there's no way to go advertise.
Oh, yeah, I'm thinking with me.
It is definitely
Yeah,
impossible.
so, and I think,
But you could do it by September.
I think that's what, I think new elected people went in gung-ho, I'm talking General Assembly,
Right.
and said, hey, yeah, let's get a budget. And then all of a sudden, somebody must have said, whoa, 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 you're costing the county money. You're not just, this is not state.
They ain't
fund."
thinking about that.
Right, that's what I feel like
They
happened.
never do.
Anyway.
Yeah,
Well-
so I will do a little bit more research on it and circle back or send an email to you guys
Okay.
prior to.
So that's gonna be on the agenda coming up in the next month or so, okay? Just so you know, that's what it's there for. And keep that, if you would, I'll put that, have that sheet as a placeholder,
right.
so to remind you. Okay.
When you're doing your research, tell them I said no.
I will.
Tell them I'd like to be treated fairly as a non-competent.
I mean, if this was something that's like mandated, you know, why
Why
do you
we
have
need
to?
to talk about it?
Yeah, but
They need to
also,
send
why
the
do you
money
have
down
to
here.
adopt these ordinances because we've paid for stuff that's mandated out before? It makes no sense.
They don't to me either.
Well, and when we're
Number-
talking about mandated, the whole budget's 68 million. We only control 18
18,
million
that's
of
right.
it. The rest of it's mandated.
Number 8.
Okay,
Happy Tales Lane.
let's end that with a good Happy Tales Lane.
Wagger tail.
So, and I'm gonna yield that to Mr. Ingram. I missed that last
Yeah.
meeting with CARES, but I had suggested to Burkeville, we call it Boswell Lane, and I did that on my own.
I would have liked to have seen that.
Right, and that's why I did it, and Mr. Boswell owns all that property on top of the hill, and his dad, I believe, had a fertilizer business or something.
And sold it to the county at a discounted price.
But Jack is very adamant about not naming it that, and so the CARES group got together, and Dickie, I'll leave that up to you.
They had like 5 different names that had been proposed. And so they talked about them.
Right.
And Boswell Lane was one of them.
Right. John Rourke Lane was not on that list.
No.
Right. Okay.
Boswell Lane and Jack said no. And so they had a vote, and the vote came up to Happy Tales Lane.
Was Whitetail Park on there?
I've been there. I've been there in a deputy car.
I wanted a deputy car. I used to deliver
You
mail over there.
know, I said to Jack, it ought to be Boswell Lane, but
Right.
he was very adamant he did not want that.
He did that.
So, Happy Tales Lane is what
he-
they
does he
decided
get
on.
to-
Of course,
does he
I
get to
think
decide?
you've got to go to the town of Burkeville, correct?
Right.
Yeah.
Who gets to decide?
Well,
Kinda burnt.
well, that's what I'm asking y'all if is it okay to send an email since we got I got to have name something because I got to get an address up there.
Right.
And it's okay to send an email and say, hey, my suggestion was not well received with Mr. Boswell. Would the board is okay if they name it? You know, really, you don't have to send anything. I can just call them because it's not in the town. They can name it anything they want to.
County, you know, I want to say this, and I want to keep us meeting at a minimum because there won't much on this agenda. But the county wasn't awarded to have much value or say into that place up there. When we first started talking about that, CARES, all those people funded all that big money, and that tremendously helped. At least 2 other board members on this board besides myself was under the impression that that was going to lessen the amount of money that it cost the county.
I was one of those. I'll say it out loud.
And then the other, including myself, and then as time went on, they said, well, if we want nicer furniture and we want a catio, we're going to use our CARES money for that.
They did.
And I know they did, but that wasn't the original deal. The original deal was we raising money to save this county some money for this new mandated animal shelter that's got to meet state code.
They have paid for just about all the furnishings.
Well, I know that
All
was
the
it. That's what they're
appliances,
talking about.
which the county would have had to pay for. The county
Yeah,
would have
but-
had those appliances in there.
But we'd have got them a whole lot cheaper.
We bought them through the county. CARES bought them through the county.
So we'd have got them for the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I don't want to sound like I'm not thankful for that group of folks, because I'm tremendously thankful for them. They've done a horrific job. But we just heard that, we heard the last meeting that they need a name up there, and next thing you know, they don't, like Chairman Collins say, does Boswell have a decision on whether we name it Boswell Lane? He ain't got that decision. He wants to be humble, and he don't want his name on it. Because that's just him. I know him. He's a good fellow. His name deserves to go on it.
Yeah.
But
well,
if I understand what you're saying, if they've raised, again, I'm using John math, if they raised $1 million and it cost us $2 million to build it, then to the taxpayers, it should have only cost $1 million according to what was presented when the fundraising started.
I disagree with that.
Originally, that's what my thought was.
I disagree with that. I mean, what CARES has done is stepped up and bought things that the county would have had to purchase.
I understand.
They've already spent over 100, I think it's $170,000.
So let me ask this, and this is just informational, Mr. Ingram, not trying to get in the bushes or get nasty. When they raised all that money, I think it was about $680,000 or so.
750.
$750. Why would they, I know they want to control over it because they raised the money, but at what point did they decide not giving that $750 to the bank account marked animal shelter and the county have control over it?
I don't know that they ever talked about that, Bo.
But that's why I'm asking.
To me, their idea was the county has to build an animal shelter to code.
And we're
The
gonna help.
county built the animal shelter to code. But then these other things were gonna have to be in there. You can't have an animal shelter and not have.
So of that $750, what they got left roughly?
They've got different things that they're gonna be doing, like
contributed about
this volunteer thing and all of that. They're paying the salary of the volunteer coordinator. They're doing things all the time, and they're looking, and they sit down and talk about what needs to be done that they will do. They paid for the sign on the building. So, I mean, you think about the things that would have had to been there, and if it hadn't been for them, it would have cost the county taxpayers.
So you pay for a volunteer coordinator, so you can't get a volunteer to be the coordinator.
Well, how you gonna get somebody, think about that, Bo. You gotta train people to be volunteers. You just can't say, well, go up there and walk a dog. You've got to have somebody
You
that,
don't want your animal control officers dealing with the people.
that's right.
Oh, no, I agree with that. But I was just hoping maybe you could have a volunteer to be the volunteer coordinator. A trained person that know what they're doing, to train these people to volunteer. That it just makes me think of like Goodwill. They say it's nonprofit. The CEO makes $5-6 million a year. That's just,
But Bo, to your point, I think what the chairman just said, out of this roughly, and I'm guessing here, roughly out of the over $700,000 that was raised, they have given $180,000.
towards it. And have they allocated the rest of the money like you
Not
talked-
yet.
Oh.
Like I said, they're waiting to see what's gonna happen. Like Steve said, it's a work in progress.
This was a discussion that I had very recently when I was at the animal shelter with one of the leaders of the CARES group. The first thing I did was said, well, you can go ahead and pay down the note at the IDA. They can use the money for economic development.
What was the response you got from that?
That was not.
It was not well received.
I'm sure it won't.
So my second comment to them was then, if you want this volunteer program to succeed, then you need to earmark funds that will go into this county budget annually as a line item out of your pot of money that you have that will continue to pay for the coordinator of the volunteers and any other things that you want to pay over the next 12 months. So I said, the next 12 months is your accounting. And if you spend $50,000 this year and you say, okay, we're gonna do that every year, this is what we want to do, then that needs to come in as a line item on the county budget, pass through money.
I totally agree.
Because the next board, when they're cutting budgets, I said, you're gonna get cut. I said, so as long as it's a pass-through, then this will exist as you like it, and that will be your legacy. That was better received. Mr. Bowman said she kind of liked me later.
Well, it takes a long time for people to grow on you, Bill. I don't know why.
So,
It's taking 20 years for me, I still ain't done it.
so the idea of them contributing to the debt, no. The idea of them continuing to run the volunteer program and contribute to some of the expenses, they talked about doing the next guard for us. The flea and tick control.
Right.
And
Spaying and neutering.
supplies that get used up.
They did offer, knowing that my budget will increase, and I try to level that, but I know deep down it's going to increase because it's got 100% air going on up
run some
there.
more utilities.
Yeah, I got to run
So
more
they talked
utilities.
about that.
They talked about helping me out to get through that.
So over the next 12 months, they should have an idea of what they spend while we're running this new shelter. And that's what I said. I said, okay, then that needs to be your line item, pass through county budget.
And
That
at
was as far as I got.
at any given time, they can put a freeze on their money and say, we ain't giving not another dollar.
But that's
Sure
right,
you
they
can.
could that. That's right.
Yep.
Well, going back to the point here, it's nothing wrong with this board saying, hey, we still think it ought to be Boswell Lane. If y'all want to put in your suggestion to Burkeville, we put our suggestion into Burkeville. We both put our suggestion, let Burkeville make the decision.
Oh, you kicked the can.
I kicked the can, no, I gave it, I passed the problem to someone
That's
else.
the butt.
I don't
It's
wanna
not-
go,
it's not-
I don't
it's
wanna
not in
go,
the-
I don't wanna go against what they want up
They
there.
want happy, yeah, if they want Happy Tails Lane,
Let them have, but Boswell, he ain't never gonna take recognition for nothing.
Yep.
Right.
He's been,
I'll take a motion for Happy Tails Lane.
I so moved.
A second?
Y'all don't look very happy.
I don't care what they name it.
I still say it's in Burkeville, let Burkeville handle it. I mean, I'm not trying to kick the can
Okay.
down the road because we can make the suggestions all we want.
Send a name to Burkeville Town.
Yeah.
That y'all okay with,
Yeah,
okay.
that's fine.
And they may want to name it something like, here's part of your tax increase lane.
So no motion on the floor?
No motion.
Okay.
Just go on, send it on to Burkeville.
Okay.
Comments from members of the board. We've got Vice Chairman Toth.
you know, I think there's a reason I got put up at first.
He's on the list.
I know, but I got reason to be put on the list first.
Well, you
No, I'm
want to be
joking.
vice chair, there you go.
No, I don't really have many closing comments. I think I commented all throughout the meeting.
Yep.
That was something that I wanted to get off my chest about Chaos, how appreciative I was, but how much I didn't think the county was included.
I don't think you knew I had that conversation with them, so.
No, I
it's
didn't,
okay.
but I'm glad I wasn't the only person thinking that.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking that all the while, but I'm happy for them, and I don't know if they got alligator skin furniture up there or vinyl, or pleather, poor man
Got
leather,
a built-in power washer.
built-in power washer.
Yeah, in the closet by
And
the
the,
dog run.
and the catio. Hey, one other question I do got, Mr. Ingram, for the public, because they've asked me this, two people. My wife was one of them. What is a catio?
What is a what?
Catio.
Go up there and look and you can see it.
But what do you do? Is it open to the public to go in there and spend time with the cat?
Yeah,
So they can come in, is it inside or out?
yeah, that's
Is it
the
in the
whole.
building?
Inside- In the building.
So it's
Yeah.
air conditioned heated?
Yeah, it has to be. The state says that.
I think you can get some patients that would, not being funny at all, utmost respect. I think you can get some people that may have some challenges that would help them to go up there and sit with animals.
Well, what I'm
That's part
saying
of the
to you
volunteer
is that's
program.
part of the volunteer part.
I'm still
Somebody,
going outside and go walking.
she had, I think, Steve, you weren't at that meeting. I think she said she had like 18 people that had put in to be volunteers.
Right.
Well, I had been asked about that by two different people. The only thing I gotta say is, it's a lot of stuff going on within the town of Blackstone, and I'm greatly appreciated of it because it has directed some of the attention from us. But it's still what I call political drama, which is stupid, and it's all for individuals' gain. And I was contacted by 4 different people, and I could really care less. I told them. One of them was the creator of what I'm speaking of, this stuff, and I said, I like your humor. I don't take no offense to it. I got bigger things to worry about, such as this board. Take care of that council down there. That's y'all stuff. So that's all I got to say.
Mr. Ingram, Supervisor Ingram.
To sit through the budget meetings that we sat through, me and Ms. Norton and Mr. Bowen and a couple of other folks, and have to look at this and see what we had to come up with was difficult. It was difficult. I don't want to raise taxes. I like to lower taxes. But we can't run the county if we don't have the money. And just like this 2% bonus, we had no voice in that at all. All of a sudden, the state says you got to give a 2% bonus. And we're sitting there like, help us out then. We got to give a 2% bonus.
Just like the courthouse.
Yeah, if you look at our budget, and like Ms. Norton said, the total amount of the budget, it looks humongous, but then it's only 18 million that we have any kind of halfway control of. And the two biggest things, as I said before, when the state says you got to fund the schools this amount of money, you got to fund the schools this amount of money. We don't have a choice. And with EMS, like I said, once again, and Mr. Chief Shute knows it. Hey, we at a point where now we don't have that many volunteers for EMS. We got a lot more for fire than we do EMS. But when you look at EMS and folks want somebody to come to their place and do what they got to do, We got half that. You ask what does the county provide, the county is trying, and I've always said this, I want to only provide what's essentially needed by this county. And that, to me, is fire, EMS, the schools, the landfill, those types of things. I'm not here for extra. That's it.
Supervisor Rourke.
Yes, sir. So, I don't know how to, I mean,
Spit it out, Junior.
just like you see all the drama on Facebook, this too will somehow get twisted. So I'm just gonna say that whatever happens, happens. So the $18 million that we're responsible for, and if I'm wrong, please interject, any of you, please. That's what we are taxing our personal property and real estate for. It's just $18 million. Okay, so I asked, and I appreciate y'all at the last minute because this thought kind of rambled around in my head yesterday while I was talking to the chairman, and I asked Steve at the last minute if there was a possibility of kind of breaking this thing down and kind of lumping it down into a few instead of multiple line items to understand it. I would say this, out of the $18 million that we're taxing our citizens for, out of the $18 million, the questions, maybe it's being presented because just like we only had 3 speakers here, 2 of those 3 for the budget tonight, this place should have been packed.
I agree with that.
Place should have been packed. What disappoints me is that when the budget, when we adopt the budget, because we got to at some point, is adopted, once it's put on Facebook, oh, you'll hear it from the people. But the ones that understand that we need to hear it, not from ramblings on Facebook, we need to hear it, whether it's a personal phone call at a public hearing, we need to hear that. So I'll say this because you got a week before you do this. Out of the $18 million that we're taxing y'all for, the citizens of Nottoway, out of that, please tell us what you, the citizens, and I keep looking at you two guys, but because y'all the ones here, but I mean this to the camera. You, the citizens, please tell the 5 of us out of the $18 million, what do you want us to cut from these services, okay? And what I mean by that, do you want us to cut $750,000 off of EMS and go to 2 ambulances instead of 3? Because the citizens are forcing that demand. That's a citizen-driven demand. It's $2.2 million. Do you want us to cut that? Because then what's going to happen, your response is going to be slow. You're going to have mutual aid coming in from other counties. So do you want us to cut some of that? That's going to be what happens. Do you want us to cut something from the school? Do you want us to say, but we need the citizens to tell us this? People feel like they have no say in it. If 100 people walked up here tonight or got in touch with us after tonight's meeting and said, listen, cut the schools, I'd cut, because that's what the majority of the people come up here and say. Cut them, you cut them. But are they going to say, come on, let's send 5 deputies home. Let's cut the SROs from the sheriff. But what I would challenge the people to do is simply tell us what you want us to. We understand you don't want your taxes raised. What else can we do? It takes time to get the programs like Mr. Hart spoke about. Those are things that it's slow. Even if you do solar, this board will never see a penny from any solar project. The next board may see upfront, but they will never see it energized with the big check that we worked on because it's a slow process.
And the 200 people of employment that's going to take to erect the whole thing.
That's right. So those things take longer. But the biggest thing of this is, like Mr. Ingram said, we are taxing the citizens for these essential services. And to Mr. Hart's comments he had said earlier as well, there is a process that we're working on as far as the landfill. Some of which you discussed, we have been in negotiations with for over a year now. Some of which you had discussed. So to that point, there is some things there that we are working on, but we can always change something right now. We could save $400,000 right now before next Thursday. We could save $400,000. If the citizens walk up here and say, listen, shut down the convenience center sites. If we shut down the 6 convenience center sites and started going back to the landfill, guess what just happened? $420,000 in savings right there. But as soon as you do it, you're going to upset people and they're going to throw the trash on the side of the roads.
They already do that because I was on it.
But that's what I'm saying. There is a penalty to anything you cut. If you cut the schools, you know what's going to happen? They're going to say you don't care about kids. They're going to try to shame you. If you cut the sheriff's office and you got a meth head walking down the street trying to break in and you got a response from one deputy who's trying to cover the whole county because that's all you got, you know, there's no method to this madness. It is citizen driven. So I would ask each and every one of you, it's over 15,000 of you here in this county, a couple dozen of you can change what this board would do just by coming like these gentlemen did tonight and speak to us. Tell us what you want us to cut out of these services, because this is what you're dealing with. This is exactly what you're dealing with. And Mr. Chairman, I even found a way that we can save this money right now. This tax levy, this 4%. But it would be a huge ask, and I'll say this publicly, I know I'm gonna get beat up for it, to the bonus that just went out. There is also increases, I'm talking about to the school. There's increases in salaries just coming up next year for those teachers. Like I said, I know I'll get beat up, but could we ask the school, hey, look, I know you've cut those checks. Can we pull half of what y'all gave to the bonuses from your budget for next year? That's 1 cent off that levy right there. That's 1 cent off of it. All right, the other 3 cents we're gonna find, and some of these programs that are already funded have expanded beyond what they've done. Make government smaller, not bigger. That's how you avoid these levy increases here. We would already have the money. You've got programs that are in place, and I'll use some that came to the board, Piedmont Senior Resources, STEPS. The state and federal government put these boards together, these committees together to cover 5 to 7 counties with funding for X programs. Well, they're growing, and in the meantime, they're growing away from that. They're saying, well, we need money to continue this. If you go back to the original missions of some of these programs, there's money savings in there. And the good thing about that is if services start to falter, you go back, you have a public hearing, you amend your budget, and you add, because at the end of the day, there's a couple of $1,000s to these programs, but when you start taking them away, you start chipping at this levy decrease. But nobody wants to talk about that because, well, you're trying to hurt these, you're trying to hurt that, you're trying to inconvenience us. So again, I'll ask you, you've got $18 million, ladies and gentlemen. Please tell us what services, what programs you want us to distract this money from.
How long do they have to tell us? Because we got to adopt this when?
Next week.
That's what I thought.
But that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm so disappointed
You
that
didn't
they
have
were
back.
not here, because I guarantee you in 2 weeks, when I say 2 weeks, because you adopt the budget next week, the following week the newspaper will come out.
be coming on.
You will have hundreds of them. You will have hundreds of them.
And Mr. Chairman, I know you're trying to get all the board members to speak, but I want to just piggyback on what John said. The 4 cent, and whether you call it 7%, I call it 4 cent tax increase on the tax levy for EMS, not the fire department.
Right, EMS.
Does not include when they lose a contract for Fast C. I asked
That's
the
33,000
leadership
month.
in EMS and Nottoway Emergency Squad. I asked the leadership the question: are you going to be asking for more money when you lose the contract for Fast C?
Yes.
And the answer came back as yes, we will.
Yes.
And how much? Nobody could tell me.
33,000.
Is what it is.
A month.
So that 4 cent don't even include that.
Supervisor Rourke, if you don't hear anybody, are you going to vote for this budget? Because I don't
I
know.
will not be voting for this budget. This will be the 5th one in a row that I voted for.
Then that means they're going to be calling me. So I ain't going to
Yeah.
vote for it either then. I don't want no phone call.
I will vote, I'm gonna vote no on this budget, simply because I feel like if I vote yes for this current budget, it's not about the levy. I would be saying that I'm still okay with the 2 previous tax increases, and I am not. So it is a no vote unless we reduce these taxes.
And
We can't-
in the way you say, we can, yeah, we can.
Yeah. And no, I'm saying,
But we're gonna reduce some services.
yes, we can absolutely do it, but we need the citizens to tell us what services they're willing to do
Sacrifice,
without
right.
or slow down on. That's all they gotta do is tell us. Chip away $1 million
I
right here. We can
forgot, I
start
forgot all
reducing
about the
taxes.
5-minute
Commentary-
timekeeping.
Yes, in commentary time.
I know.
It's more of John's time.
Good time, John, good points.
No, I'm good. I just, we can do it, but we need, because we're here for them. We're here this for the citizens. We need their direction to make that decision. Because I'm not cutting the sheriff, because when the meth head knocks on somebody's door, they're gonna be on him. They're gonna be on him right now. I'm not willing to say, well, let me back this up. I am willing to say, because I'm saying right now, if the citizens of this county would behave themselves, we wouldn't be having a discussion. 1.9, almost $2 million going to the jail because the people don't want to behave themselves, but yet they'll come up here and tell us not to raise their damn taxes. But yet they won't stay out of trouble to go up there and have to pay a per diem to put them in jail. So I got a problem with that, yes. So behave yourselves, y'all. We don't have to do these tax increases. It's that simple. I digress. Thank y'all.
Most of the ones get in trouble don't pay no taxes, John.
Supervisor Norton?
I too am disappointed at the turnout tonight for the public hearing. But I really feel like I've gotten a bunch of calls this week. Citizens don't care anymore. They've thrown their hands up. They feel like we're gonna do whatever we want to do. But I wish they would take the time, the way we explain it, to listen and reason and see what we're dealing with. It's not we want to do this. But the other thing, the state budget's not yet determined. So it could be worse. It depends on where they come in at and more mandated services. But the other thing is sad to me, and no disrespect, Mr. Ingram, at all, and all the hard work that the CARES group did for this animal shelter. We spent the majority of this meeting talking about dogs and cats. And I'm gonna go back to what Bubba said about what's the draw. If we would spend as much time working on senior citizen centers, daycare centers, so people can go to get a good job and have daycare, and youth services and recreation, but the hard shell of that is, we don't have the money to do any of it. We can't. So that's why we don't have the draw, because we don't have the money. But sit here and we talk for 30, 40, 50 minutes about dogs, and it's that way across America right now. Animals are hot. Everybody's got a dog because they don't want to deal with people. But it just infuriates me that we can't get down to the brass tacks and do other things. Now, what we've done is a good thing. It was mandated. We've come in really well. I can't say enough about the CARES group. They're good people. But we need to spend as much time dedicating efforts to resolving emergency services and all these other things. But we're so busy putting out fires, we can't do anything else but put out fires. But that's all I'm gonna say tonight.
Good night. I don't have any comments. I'm gonna lead by example.
Oh, my goodness.
Take a motion.
I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
Second. Cut.
All in favor, what we
All
gonna
in
do?
favor?
Stand up.
Yep, stand.